Common Sense is a deep analysis to global and socio-economical issues from the point of view of real people in real time. From the Sunshine State, this is Common Sense with Lex Marshall and JT.
Welcome to one more episode of Common Sense. My name is Lex Marshall and Jay Cooper. JT, how you guys doing?
Good.
Okay.
How are you?
Good morning, assholes. So, what are you gonna call?
Who called?
What, we're calling someone?
I don't know. I thought we were.
Wanna
Try
call
calling Colin if you want. He's not
Wanna
gonna answer.
call the Ghostbusters?
You can call Colin
He's
if you
gonna
want. He's
call.
not going to answer, though. I'll give you
Why,
his number.
he's sleeping?
Yeah, try it, though. Why not? Some suspense.
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 Alright.
And leave a detail for the message.
Alright, what's new?
News, COVID, Lindsey
COVID?
Graham, evictions.
Okay, so Lindsey Graham has COVID
Yeah.
and he was vaccinated.
Yeah.
And it's a bad COVID or okay COVID?
From what I read is he has basic flu-like symptoms, not hospitalized. Thankful that he got the vaccine because it gave him milder symptoms, which seems to be the case for
people that got vaccinated.
Yeah, they might get it, but
That's what I've been saying. Vaccinated people still getting sick, not because they have to. The vaccine makes people to dodge the viruses. I think is you're still getting it, whatsoever.
yeah, you're less likely to get it, but you can still get it. And if you do get it, you're less likely to go to the hospital. You'll have mild symptoms. There are still people in the hospital that got it that are vaccinated, but it's, I don't know, 3%.
The percentage
or something like that.
against people that wasn't vaccinated is way higher, right?
Yeah, and it's blown up right now. Because things were kind of like going back to normal. People are just walking around like it was before. But the people that are not getting vaccinated are doing that too. They're like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
You hear people say like, oh, the pandemic's over, right? And there's someone who's not been vaccinated. And it's like, well, it's not over for you. Actually, it's worse than it ever has been. Because we got the Delta variant. It's as contagious as the chickenpox or smallpox, which is like extremely contagious. You just walk by them and you're pretty much going to get it.
There's another flu, really bad flu around. I don't know if you heard, but this is a flu, but with the COVID-like symptoms. Loss of taste and chest pressure. I have few buddies that they got this flu, but they were test negative for COVID, but they still feel like COVID.
Similar symptoms.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's weird, because we're not supposed to have this kind of flus anymore.
Right. Crossbreeding.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
What else?
I don't know. I gave you that one. You give me something. Jose, you give us something.
I can tell you about the Olympics, but you guys don't want to talk about Olympics. So.
I don't watch.
Or are you going to start bashing on mental health?
No,
again?
no. About the U.S. Soccer team, the girls, they lost against the Canadians.
Okay.
And they never done it before.
They always win.
Yeah.
Americans always win.
The girls, the soccer team is rated number one for a long time. They won like different tournaments. Now they got beat by the Canadians.
So the U.S. started sucking in the sports.
The girls, they always do. They always have suck.
I missed. What? What are you talking about? They've always won, right? Did they get second place? America got second place?
I think they competed now
US?
for the bronze medal. Because they lost. So one gets to be there is four teams at the end. So two teams going to play the finals, which means one will get the gold medal. The losing team will get the silver medal. But then the other two teams, they gotta play for the bronze medal, for the third place.
So they failed to get into the gold
the
and
finals.
silver final.
They,
So Canada is playing against someone else for the gold.
I think was Sweden. I think Sweden. Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I don't watch Olympics right now.
Simone Biles is
Back in.
she wants to be. I think she went back to some competition, not all of it, but some. She agreed to compete in a different routine.
They have
See, I told you, man. Like she was gonna regret it. You ever said that?
Yeah, I'm sure she. I mean,
maybe
of
it's
course.
pressure. Maybe they have a contract. Maybe they're gonna lose some money or they're gonna lose something.
Nah, I think she just wants to be part
popular?
again. Yeah.
You think like
Well,
she wants
she
to,
likes
like
doing
fame?
it. That's what. No, just she wants to be involved. That's what she's trained to do. That's what she likes doing. She wants
I
to
said
bounce
that.
back.
You said, oh.
I didn't say shit.
You said like she doesn't want to do it, so then let her not do it.
Yeah.
She get the pressure.
Now she wants to come back. Let her go back.
This is not a game. Well, actually, yeah, those are Olympic
Yeah.
games.
So you think you're like, no, you have mental health problems.
Yeah,
Never
like,
come back. You're
should be,
banished.
like segregated. Like
You're banished.
as soon as she said that, she should have been segregated. Like get the fuck out of here.
They should segregate it. No,
Fucking, you represent your country or not.
whatever.
You can just
It's
be like just on and off.
Maybe. Yeah.
So now it's a
That's your
patriot.
point.
It's a patriot duty. So
Patriotism.
if you have a mental
No,
health issues,
it has a little bit of patriotism, but not really. It's just a game. I mean, games are games. You know what I'm saying? Like if you lose, you lose. There is only two outcomes on playing a game. You lose, well, there's a drawing,
You
but
lose or you lose.
but you lose, you lose. Yeah.
who cares? How many?
You win.
How many sports athletes that you got in your mind that you remember from the U.S. Olympic team or any Olympic team before?
Michael Phelps,
Who else?
Michael Jordan,
Who else?
Michael Jackson.
I don't remember anyone. And I don't want to remember it. So
That's good.
that's a long time. I don't
yeah,
pay
a few.
attention. To
So
those
what
guys.
do you think mental health, would you make it equivalent of like, let's say,
Josh Foreman,
let's say an athlete
Josh
hurts
Foreman?
themselves physically.
the guy, the grill guy,
The what?
the grill guy,
I don't remember him.
Josh Foreman. You know Josh Foreman,
I
right?
mean, maybe I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
I remember names by some other
football
sport
player, right?
outside the
No,
Olympics.
it's boxer.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The guy who sells grills in Walmart.
I don't remember.
You never seen a George Foreman grill?
No,
You?
It's pretty popular. Yeah.
no, I don't grill in my home. So
You never-
sorry, guys. I don't watch sports. I don't grill it. So
So he doesn't.
Just saw him on
cares?
TV.
Okay, you were saying?
So let's say someone, hurts their ankle, hurts their knee or whatever, they have to back out, they come back in. Do you think that there's some equivalency there between mental health and physical health?
I never pay for watch sports. So that's why.
Someone gets hurt, and then
They leave, they got to take
Well,
time
but
off
that's
to heal
understandable.
and come back.
that's understandable because someone gets hurt.
Yeah, well, would you,
Like someone.
is there any type
it's
of
like you telling
equivalency
me,
of
no,
mental
it's like
health?
you're telling
injury?
me like someone hurt my feelings. Yeah.
Or
No,
could just
that's
be
different.
a mental health issue.
That's different. Mental health and physical health is different. You cannot manage the same way both of them.
Yeah.
You can just put a band-aid on a mental health. How you
Well,
gonna
I
put a
mean,
band-aid on?
You let them take time off, de-stress,
And so
talk
physical,
to therapist or whatever.
nah, it's not the same. I think mental health is beyond physical because the cure and the treatment is totally different. Mental health is no joke. It's like you going crazy or fucking schizophrenic.
Yeah.
So that takes time.
Yeah.
So depression is a mental health.
Pressure,
well, let's say
Depression is a
depression. Yeah, that's mental health.
So if
depression,
they-
anxiety.
So everybody who has problems with anxiety and depression.
It's
is,
it's mental health problems
yeah.
and should be treated for. I mean,
So
Yeah.
we all of them then we have mental.
Yeah, we
yeah,
all-
we
yeah.
all that. Yeah, like we all have cancer. There's different stages of cancer, different stages of mental health.
On the
Yeah.
depression?
different degrees of severity, right? Just like we all deal with health problems, we all deal with mental health
Yeah.
problems.
Everybody it's
Feel
just
depressed.
For some people,
feel
is
depressed for a day, then
it's worse than the
it's
others.
Yeah, some have severe mental health problems.
Like
that
you.
Yeah, I'm prescribed medication for mental health problems.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you still taking it?
so how you
Yeah,
describe
every day.
health
What
people
kind is it?
then?
I take
Mucinex?
lamotrigine, which is generic for Lamictal, and I take it for bipolar
So you
type
bipolar?
2. I'm
Oh, yeah,
bipolar.
you told us. You know.
Bipolar type 2, and I also have dysthymia, which is lifelong chronic depression. I take one medication that covers both of those.
And they keep it control?
Yeah, it helps a lot. Yeah.
They make you dizzy, make you...
Well, yeah, I got used to it, but yeah, makes you. I was like uneasy on my feet. I had like vertigo. I had to kind of retrain myself to walk around and stuff. I mean, I was off balance for a while.
So how do you discover that you have the mental problem?
Lost my shit.
You lost your shit.
Yeah, people with bipolar often have problems in their late 20s. And, I'd always kind of had issues of ups and downs. But you're fucking asking me, assholes.
We want to know. We want to know the people know. Maybe people are suffering from this condition and they want to know. And
No, because-
maybe they feel it's something.
How do you discover that you were bipolar? And like, who did? Like your mom or your family? They thought you were fucking crazy. And they
Somebody
took you
I
to the
started
doctor?
behaving very, very strangely.
So this kid is not normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Like
much.
you were 20 some?
like 26, maybe something.
26?
Like that. Yeah.
And then someone realized that you were in the same.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting more and more like manic, which means like hyper and like thinking I'm smarter than I am and
And having arguments with
getting in arguments
Family
with people.
members?
Yeah.
But for no reason or just for particular reason. That is something that it detonates your...
I was like paranoid. I had a lot of paranoia, like irrational paranoia, like government's watching me, like that kind of stuff.
But how do you get that? So you listen on the TV, you watch it on the TV, you listen on the radio. So who told you that?
Yeah, I was like studying a lot of computer programming, so I was just like thinking that I was a genius and I knew how software was working.
and you didn't have, do you actually did or you had no idea? They just
It's just
pretend.
my imagination. So I entered a state of psychosis, which means you can't tell the difference between your thoughts and reality.
Okay. One time I was dreaming that I could fly.
Right.
I think it was probably like in my 12,
Yeah.
and I was dreaming that I was flying.
Oh, flying.
Then it seemed like so real.
Yeah.
Then I
Yeah.
woke up
Yeah.
and I tried to fly, and I was like, "What the fuck I'm doing?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a dream is a good way of looking at it. Let's say you have a dream.
But how do you try to fly? Just get up of the bed and try to suspend yourself?
No,
Or what?
in my dream, I just like walking in the middle of the
clouds?
Well, on my house, we have like a little courtyard on the house, and I was just levitating right in the middle. And I remember like I needed to be close to a tree, so in case it goes out of hand, so I can grab the tree by the branches. And so
How old are you?
I think I was like 12. So I was thinking like I gotta go in the courtyard and try to levitate close to a tree. So if it gets out of hand, then I can grab still
Right, you might,
do something.
you might
Shit.
just go straight into the
Yeah,
sky and
yeah.
never be able to come back down. You just float off. You gotta be able to hold yourself down.
Yeah, but it was so vivid and so realistic that
But you
the-
wouldn't levitate it in the dream? Or you tried to levitate it after the dream?
after next morning I tried to levitate in real life,
Yeah.
and I found myself in the courtyard and I found myself close to a tree.
Yeah.
Tried to levitate.
Why
and-
do you didn't keep trying?
No, I realized it was bullshit.
Right.
I realized
But
that
I actually went and try, That's why I'm trying to tell you that it was so real that you actually go. I think at that time I lost, I lost control of reality between what's
Yeah.
real and what was not real.
Right. Yeah, dream's a good way of putting
Yeah.
it. I mean, I
Messed up.
I've got a pretty vivid imagination if I let it go off the rails. So, like I talked about robots and AI and all this kind of stuff, and I am into the fiction and I can kind of imagine where things may go in the future. So if you just imagine things could go in that direction in the future layered on top of what it is now, and I can't tell the difference between what could be in the future and what is now, because my mind's just pretty much, if you can't tell the difference between your thoughts and reality, that's a pretty big fucking problem. So I was essentially living in a dream state as I'm walking around talking to people. Now looking back, obviously I'm just like, that's insane. Why would I think those things? And preceding that state, same thing. I would have been like, of course, that's not how reality works. But if your mind's lost things, and it's a biological problem.
So
Just like being a psychopath, that's a problem with the brain. That's a 1%.
You think is your brain produces more
chemical imbalance is like a
chemicals
thing.
than the other. So you have this hormone that is being produced by your body
I don't know
more than the other. So
I don't know the
it causes
complexity
you
of it.
yeah.
I don't know in terms of whether it's structure or chemical, or I don't exactly know, but I just know that it is a biological problem. Just,
because different substances that your body produces in your brain makes you different, makes you do different things, right?
yeah.
Like if you produce some chemical substance,
Alters your mood and behaviors,
it hits you a different way than the other people.
they give you superpowers.
Do you no, actually,
Fine.
actually, yeah. Do you think you ever have these deja vus?
What is it?
What is a deja vu? Explain to us.
Deja vu is
Deja vu. Yeah.
something that you think you already done it in different time, different space
Yeah.
and time.
So do you saw it or do you made it?
You've done it before.
Right.
No, just okay, but it's just like you dream it or you say, okay, I have lived this moment.
Yeah, it can
Okay.
be a dream. It can be something you've already done in different space and time.
Well, I had the feeling sensation. I had the sensation that I didn't done it before, but that experience that I know what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Like if you are in a
Feel
let's say,
familiar.
yeah, like if you are in a house, like your friend's house, and it's the first time, for sure that it's your first time in that place, and then you realize somehow that you already been there.
Well, I think it's more like you got previous knowledge.
Well, you're experiencing all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, I've sat here before.
Yeah.
And then I say, wait a minute, I'm having deja vu. And then you say, what does it feel like? And then I'm like, that's exactly what you said the last time I said this,
Yeah.
right? And then
It's
like
a
a
serious-
cat walks
yeah,
by and then
it's
you're
a
like,
series
whoa,
of
the cat just
events.
walked by too.
Yeah, it's a series of events. They all click together into one scene
Yeah.
that you already experienced.
But it's
that's-
tricky.
That is a biological thing. That is as you're experiencing things in real time, your brain is committing things to both short-term and long-term memory, right? And so deja vu is like a glitch pretty much where your brain, like a millisecond before, is committing it to long-term before short-term. So you're like seeing it and you're like, wait a minute, that happened in the past because it's recorded till long-term 1st. And it's like a momentary thing where your brain's just like fucking up the sequence. And then you're just like, wait a minute. And then that, and then that, and then that.
Like, for instance, like you work in a place, let's say in a specific location of your work, your coworker arrives, says something, and then your other coworker arrives and says something, but that scene right there, you already have experienced it before. saying things like your worker comes first, and one of your coworkers comes and say something, the other one comes second and says another thing, but then for some reason you already experienced that scene.
But it sounds predictable.
Yeah, sometimes things are just repetitive.
Sounds predictable.
Sometimes your life is just like, I do the same shit all the time, right?
No, what happened? What I think that I experienced before is just like I've been in a place. You know, for example, I visited a place, and I couldn't experience everything. I mean, I didn't watch everything, or I didn't saw everything in that place, right?
Yeah.
So I got the idea, and then I slept, and for some reason my brain just, you know, tried to recall it in my dream when I'm my subconscious. I'm not conscious in that. Then I go back to that place, and I can recall what I saw without. But at the first moment, I didn't think that I saw everything.
Right.
You dreamed before about that, and now
Kinda, but I don't think
It's like something you didn't really, you noticed it only subconsciously,
Right.
and then after dreaming,
Yeah.
you realize what you've seen.
I was watching a video about these deja vu things, and I was watching one girl that had experience with these things, and she thinks is previous lives, like you live in a previous time, or it could be in the future, could be in the past, and somehow you still have like flashes from your previous life into your new life. Mm-hmm. So she was saying that she remembers being on Auschwitz. Mm-hmm. As
Auschwitz,
prison camp,
as a extermination camp.
Nazi era.
World War II, yeah.
And she remembers being, and she goes there. She went to Auschwitz. She said, like, I was here in this building, and I met with these people. She even recognizes faces on the picture because now it's a museum. They have like pictures of the people that was there. And she even recognizes some of the few faces. I was here. I was with this person.
Yeah, but after the fact, that'd be real easy to just make up. You just point, oh, that person, definitely.
Not really,
It's not like she had knowledge beforehand. She's
because
just
it's
confirming things as it's being presented.
Right. It could be, yeah, it could be. But the thing is,
she
like,
might believe it, but
the thing is, like, but now those buildings are gone. You know, like a lot of the buildings, like they burn out,
demolished.
and then demolished. And she remembers like details of how it was back then. But she was like 20 something. So she thinks like she was there in previous life.
Or maybe somebody spoke to her when she was a child, and subconsciously she remembers
Read
it.
books. I mean, there's all kinds of information you could get.
And there's another lady that says that it is true that we all have previous lives, like kind of reincarnation.
Yeah.
You believe in reincarnation?
No, but I heard stories. I don't believe in reincarnation, but I hear stories.
So people like sometimes people they're not afraid to die because they think I'll be back, you know, in the next life, and they're not afraid to die. So they.
But you're supposed to, but you don't continue your life. I mean, if you're dead, then you
It's a different
reincarnate
life.
an animal.
A different person.
Yeah.
So how is it the same? Same but different? Not really.
Nah, I don't think. I mean, I see it like it's like kind of recycling people.
Same personality.
Kind of, yeah. I
Even
mean,
though you're born to different parents in a different era,
Right.
you're still kind of you.
yeah. I mean, your subconscious mind is still the same. It's just a new body.
I don't know.
There's
You're
stories.
shaped.
There are stories that I heard a story. I don't remember where, but there was in Spain that this guy was recording some people that has a child, that the child is supposed to be a monk from
Yeah.
So he recalled and he do
Punk.
routine when he was a
Isn't
child.
the Buddha kind of like that?
Yeah, but it was a child, and that he recalled to make some rituals that the monks do, in ancient time, and he was improbable to somebody teach him because he was, like 2-3 years old. So that's where the people think there's a reincarnation in him.
Yeah, but you also have like that child painter. There's like a little girl who's 5 or something, and all of her paintings are in like art galleries, and some documentarists went in, and it became very apparent that the father was painting it and like conning everyone.
Yeah.
It could easily just be, oh, look at that. There's
Yeah.
no way he could have known that. Right.
Right.
But you ever seen pictures of
Profit
people,
motivation or power or whatever.
You ever seen pictures of people that look alike, people that we have now? Like, I think...
Doppelgangers.
yeah, like Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah, there's
That is-
similar people that just
There's
look
just
like
just the same, exactly the same person, but who live like...
just another era, right?
yeah.
like 100
like
years
in
back.
the beginning of the gold rush.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there's like few people that they look alike.
Yeah. I mean, genetics can only be reshuffled so many times. If you think about how many people there are, it's actually amazing that we're even able to like differentiate as many different faces as we can. We've got really good brains for telling the difference between faces. Like,
So do you think in 100 years your face gonna be appear in some kid?
people have said like, "Oh, you look just like that guy." You've heard that before.
Okay,
People
but-
say you look like Alfredo. Not even that much, but a little.
But
like,
what
a
about if
little
you don't
bit.
have kids? If you don't want to have kids, I mean, let's say, I don't know,
My gene
hypothetically,
pool,
if you,
there's some other German-Swiss combination, German-Swiss or Swiss-Irish, or no, not even Swiss, German and wait, I don't remember. Whatever, Western European. There's some pale Western European descendant who looks similar enough to me. I mean,
so there will be another people
you may
back
not
in
have the
time
same
that
personality.
you. No. I'm not
Back in
personality. I'm
time,
saying your face.
ancestors
No,
Could
could
be.
be another people like right now is
that
you.
look exactly like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in 100 years
Back.
it could
Very
be-
similar, but
because your gene is just jumping in through
exactly the
generations.
same.
Not exactly the same, but alike.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Here's
you
the
could
thing
find-
for
yeah.
you, Cooper. Like you don't believe in any
He's not a
gods
mystic.
and stuff like that.
Spirituality, yeah.
Then hold on a second. Yeah. You don't believe in any
That's a mystic time for us.
in any gods and religion.
Yeah.
So what do you think about soul? Remember, like the beginning of the podcast, you like
Showed a video. Yeah. Or
you,
what?
like, told JT that someone
Soul.
was knocking at your door and saying,
Oh yeah.
"Yeah, you have no soul."
Yeah, having a soul. No.
No, it's a soul. Okay.
Soul.
Yeah.
What do you think about soul? Like, do
What is
you
the soul?
believe in soul?
No.
You don't believe in soul.
No.
Why?
So people don't have souls.
No. I
Okay,
mean,
do you know what
consciousness. They have a consciousness.
Do you know what a soul is?
Define it.
I don't know. It's
I
like-
mean,
well,
in my
soul
mind,
is like hold on a second.
I just think it's an
soul-
inferior word for consciousness. I think people have a consciousness. A soul implies
Let me
like
see how people
something
define
that's
soul.
outside of the material world, something ethereal, some type of magic.
So what are the animals? So what do they have?
They have a consciousness. That's the
The animals,
word.
they have conscience.
Consciousness.
Wow. They are aware to be
Oh.
alive.
This is how it
I
defines.
think animals have a consciousness as well. It's just more limited than ours.
This the spiritual or immaterial part of the human being or animal regarded as immortal,
Yeah, no, I don't believe in any sort of
emotional
immortality.
or
So an
intellectual energy or intensity, especially as revealed in a work of art or an artistic performance. That's kind
Yeah, it's like it exists outside of the body
Mm-hmm.
or on its own, independent of the body. And I don't think we have anything that's independent of our bodies.
So it's just only your body and your mind. That's it. There's nothing beyond.
Yeah, your mind and your consciousness is dependent upon your physical form. And once your physical form has deteriorated or been destroyed, your consciousness ceases to exist. You no longer exist without your body.
Okay, so if you don't believe in soul, then so you don't believe in so therefore you don't believe in reincarnation because
No, you're gone.
soul means your
Essence
self
or
in now the physical self, but you're in your mental or psyche self
Essence, sort of.
essence
Yeah.
jumps around through generations, so
Nah.
through different times.
You got your
Then-
genetic code that you can pass on. right? But if you're not doing that, then I don't think that dinosaur souls exist anymore, other than like the lineage that went into the birds. But I mean, if you go
Or
extinct,
reptiles.
then if an animal goes extinct, that's it. They're gone.
How are you?
Wow, that I believe that I have a soul?
Yeah.
I don't have a soul. I have a soul.
Is that what you told your landlord? Like, I don't have a soul.
Yeah, he was knocking
I have
on
a
my
soul.
door. Like, Jose, do you have a soul? And I always have a sleep and say, what? You have a soul? No, what are you talking
No
about?
soul.
No soul.
No souls
I
here.
thought I had one.
Yeah, no, he asked me like 3 times, like I wasn't sure that I really have. I said, no, I don't have it. But okay, no, I think we have it. I think I have a soul, or my part of my conscious, so that I want to believe that I have one.
Okay, so if you're, like Cooper said, like when your body ceases to exist, therefore the soul dissipates, right? Kind of.
Consciousness, soul, yeah, whatever.
So you think like your soul is just still jumping around somewhere and it goes
Intact.
somewhere?
Well, that's more religious belief.
No, but
But I think
people
I
people
won't,
try
I won't
to
mock you.
No, but people try to scientifically
describe it.
prove that soul exists.
Well, there are some cases that people that are been spoke about in the scientific that they just don't know how to explain it. They believe it, but they don't know how to explain it. There is no scientific method to explain it.
See, another definition is the spiritual part of humans regarded as it is moral aspect,
More your morality, your ethics.
or as believed to survive death and be subject to happiness or misery in a life to come.
afterlife. Pretty much.
What about
heaven,
if there's
hell.
no afterlife?
Arguing.
So what is the case? So then you pursuing afterlife if you don't have a soul? So if your body ceases to exist, then therefore there is no afterlife, because there is nothing that you left behind. It's just
Yeah,
your body that is
I don't
dead.
believe in an afterlife.
Okay, so
But you believe in zombies, bro.
In what?
You believe in zombies,
zombies.
Zombies? I
Yeah.
don't believe in zombies.
but you like them.
Yeah, so what?
Okay,
I like ghost movies. That doesn't mean that I
so
think ghosts exist.
Okay, so what is the?
But that's the interesting part.
Yeah, it's fiction. I enjoy fiction.
Okay. What is the? Okay, if someone, like, if you go to the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Back to the Olympics. People who goes to the Olympics, they try to accomplish something, right?
Yeah.
And get rewarded.
Okay.
They go through extensive training, extensive mental health, supposedly.
Sure.
And when they there, they try to give their best and come back with the medal, come back with a trophy.
Yeah.
That is the goal.
Yes.
For you, what is your goal to do something to get rewarded in life? And if soul doesn't exist for you, then why bother? I mean, you're gonna cease to exist and pretty much become nothing. So, what is your goal, and what do you want to? Are you trying to accomplish something? Because if you're gonna cease to exist, then why bother to accomplish anything?
It's a hard question. I mean, are we talking specifically me or just atheists in general?
People like you.
So people like me. I mean,
PBS
there's
for people like
there's
you.
high performing. There's high performing scientists that have the same perspective as I do, which is a non-religious perspective. Atheist, just me. A theist is someone who believes in a religion or a god. So an atheist is the negation of that. So it just means not believing in God. But when you say atheist, a lot of people get confused and think that itself is a religion, which it's not. So a better term is pretty much non-religious. Means exactly the same thing. But there's leading biologists, neuroscientists, physicists, all kinds of high-performing members of society that don't need the motivation of religion. So it's possible to find motivation outside of religion. You just have empathy for other humans. You like thinking about the future and the future of humanity. It's interesting to contemplate science, and it's just a way to pass the time, right? And you like seeing things better. You enjoy your technology. You enjoy objects. You enjoy your family. Like same stuff. You don't need the reward of heaven. It's reward enough to see the betterment of your life and the lives of others. So there's something called humanism, which is just you think you're trying to enrich humanity to become better, and you enjoy.
So it's not a personal gain.
I mean, there's motivation of personal gain for sure. I want more money so I can buy more toys to play, to have fun.
But for me,
Pretty simple.
See, this is what I see it. For me, people that doesn't believe in anything, afterlife or whatever, it's like you going into a tournament that has no reward.
There's short-term rewards. There's short-term, and I'm not worried about the big score
it's like
of heaven.
You going, okay, you want to play soccer? Sure. Once you reach the finals, then what's the reward? It's a trophy or it's money or whatever. No, there's nothing. So,
Well, plenty of people play soccer without worrying about whether they're going to win the Olympics or not, They just play it because they enjoy it.
But they have different reasons for why people play a sport.
Yeah.
Like I say in previous podcasts, when I played at my school, it was just pure fun.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing.
And I wasn't getting reward. We weren't getting rewarded by any means. But it was fun to do it.
Yeah.
But that's not a reward. That's just a state. It's just a personal stage.
Yes, you don't need the reward of heaven in order to play. Right?
I didn't need any reward.
but I
So
think
I'm
it's
here.
different.
I'm playing with that. No, I don't need heaven. I don't need heaven.
But we
in order
know
to-
we're trying to.
Like,
Yeah,
what's
but
the
what-
alternative? The alternative. What's the alternative? Okay, so there's no heaven. There's no God. There's nothing after. So you're saying, well, why do anything? I'm like, well, what's the alternative to do? To sit there and do
I'm
nothing
trying to,
or
like,
kill
no,
myself? And those don't seem
what I'm trying
appealing to
yeah.
me.
What I'm
So
trying
I'd
to
rather
is
just live.
is just separate God, trying to separate God from everything else.
Yeah.
As we define soul is the afterlife existence of you, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not gonna exist after you die, or
Everything else will, though.
right, but for you, then there is no gain of what you do. For some, I mean, that's the way I see it. Why would I bother to become famous or to do an invention or whatever? After I die, then everything is gonna be gone.
Well,
It doesn't
for
matter.
your
It's
children
just-
or your grandchildren or just other people, that will continue without you.
It's just your. It's,
You're doing it
Your legacy,
for them.
like
for
some
them.
sort of legacy.
No, you're just doing it for them.
But that's what it is.
It's not a. I mean, yeah. I don't like. The whole like, oh, how are people going to see me? It's like, very few people are remembered as time moves forward. Mm-hmm. Like your great grandfather. What do you know about him? Your
No,
great.
nothing.
How about your great great grandfather? Right. It's a little different now because we have Facebook and there's so much documentation. They'll be able to look at photos and they'll know who you are better. Right. But how often you go through old family albums? Every once in a while. But we're gonna be archived. Let me put it that way. The photos will be there, but how often are they gonna be looking at it? How often do they think about us,
They're
right?
gonna fade away.
but
Even
it's-
politicians like Lindsey Graham 100 years from now, no one's gonna fucking remember. No one's gonna give a shit, right? And he's a very
probably
powerful
do.
person.
No, probably do. Probably
Some
do
people
because
do.
the-
I mean, yeah, historians, but the average person probably doesn't even know who he is now.
Of course,
well,
but that's what I think. That's what they reconcile the existence of the people, because we know things for passion. So at some moment we do things like we think that's our passion, but we don't think that it's going to affect another people, but they do in long term or maybe short
some
term.
people do, some people don't. Plenty of people live their life and have close to zero effect on the long term.
But it doesn't matter. It does not matter to me. For example, somebody that invented the chair was some Egyptian that it was maybe tired or maybe I don't know.
Yeah. The tech, right?
But I
the
used
objects have the objects and the technology have a bigger impact on the than the people that create it, right? So the chair continues. The person that invented it, dead and forgotten, but the chair continues, right?
Right.
Steve Jobs dead and forgotten for many people in the future, right? But the Apple continues, right? So
Right. No, I
that's
agree.
why I love
It's just
technology
wanna-
so much.
I
think
wanna see the point of view.
technology
But
and
I don't think-
ideas are more important than the
Okay.
people that invented them.
All right, but that's what I. This is
Yeah.
what I think. Okay, the people that invented something, that let's say Steve Jobs, but I don't think they really seek like you told before, like is looking for the heaven reward. I don't think the people did it for that.
They just like the objects, right?
Oh, all right, but you
Yeah.
do things
And how
just
it
because you
benefits
have
humans.
maybe you want to you pursuing something else and then you discover something, so you give it to the people or you give it to the use, and then later in time the people discover that they can use for something else, right? Then that is your legacy, but you're not doing that for passion, you just discover it.
Yeah.
But some people that you do for passion, so you want to try to achieve, then you achieve it and then you give it to the people, or maybe you just for you it's just
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what the motivation is.
It's your
The end result of
person.
technology pushing forward is a very interesting thing, interesting motivation. I don't know. Yes.
okay. From
hard to
the point
move
of
forward
view
from that.
of religion that I see personal thing is, if I know the person that is just looking for the reward or heaven itself just by the solely thought or gaining heaven, I think is wrong. Why? Because the faith is not just the reward of heaven.
Yeah.
It's just about giving.
Right. You should do it just because
And-
of how it helps people rather than
And
how
the
it's going to help you.
the result what you do during your life, it probably gets you heaven. But know that are you pursuing a
That shouldn't be
reward.
the motivation itself.
It-
Yeah.
it's just one of the tokens that you get, right? But no, it's not the, how did they put it this way? This it's not the end of it.
Right. It's not the reason. I mean, my point is that you could take that out of the equation and have people still continue to do good things. I don't think you need heaven whatsoever to motivate people to be good. There are far better real things that you can offer to
Well,
get people
I
to
think-
behave well.
I think it's just just a concept, so that people can relate to something bigger than them.
Well, it was very effective back in the day when people had terrible lives. You couldn't say like, "Oh, work, and one day we'll have computers and it'll be great." They didn't know they were eating cabbage and like
Corned beef.
working as slaves their entire lives, and technology did not improve in their entire life. They're not like, look at what humanity is doing. I mean, they're just slaving away, and they're not going to see any difference between when they're born and when they die. And so all you can promise them is, well, when you do die, you're going to see some great stuff. So keep working, right? Now we have all kinds of things that enable people to feel intertwined in the forward momentum of humanity.
We go deep in this.
But don't
Yeah.
but don't you think like that would be one of the cool things about reincarnation, of like jumping through time, so you can experience different times through
Yeah, but you're not going to be able
humanity?
to reference those things.
No,
So why does it matter?
but will you have a little deja vu? That's kind of reference. No,
It's
there's nothing.
BS. It's BS. I already went
don't
over
know.
what deja vu is.
Well, I will think it's kind of cool. Like if you get to live like in the medieval time. See how people was, even if you die from fucking the plague,
I'd
whatever.
rather watch. I wouldn't want to be there. It's awful.
Or live in.
I'd watch like an alien in the sky.
Or live
I don't wanna
like
be there, though.
in maybe in the 2070s, 3,000 years.
I'd go in
1,000
the
years.
future.
Yeah.
I'd go in the future.
If you had the ability to jump on different space and time.
I don't want to go back. I want to go forward.
Well,
What about if you saw the things? If you go to the future, you see the things that you don't like.
like, okay,
I'd be okay
if you
with
had
that.
the ability to go into the future and pick a time,
Yeah.
say, I want to live in 2070.
Hmm.
And then you live in 2070. And then right on 2070, you say, I don't want to go to the 2021. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to go
See,
back.
well, that's the same thing like you're doing now. You don't want to go back in the past and
Yeah.
in the
it's
1800s.
Pretty much as technology gets better, life gets better.
If
It's so far.
If
So
we were,
far.
Yeah, if we were living on the 1800s, you would say, I don't want to go to the 1500s. Fucking deal with this fucking king shit.
Yeah.
And so on.
Yeah.
But what about if you discover that you go back and grandfather was one of those bad guys?
Dude, I think about this a lot, actually. How many terrible people we probably have in our lineage. Like how many like apes back in the day like busted your neighbor's like head open with a rock. Like how many of your ancestors have killed people for stupid reasons and gotten away with it?
Just look at the whole South Americans. Excuse me. All the South Americans, we are half and half Spanish and Native Americans, native from the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the people that came with Christopher Columbus on those ships were fucking criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people.
The Australians.
And
It's like a
and
prison
so,
country.
So all the South Americas are like half Spanish criminal and half Native America. So in your ancestry,
probably, yeah.
So you have in your genes all this fucking criminals history.
I don't think so.
ancestry.
I think they were diluted, and because they do.
But
Okay,
it's still there.
okay, all right, but okay, but
Right?
let's see this.
I mean-
this part. Okay, it was an empire, right?
Just
In
the
Ameri-
amount of forced
the new
wars
America.
you had to get.
All right, but in America they wasn't pure. They living by their own law, so they submitted another, towns around, another culture, because it wasn't just the Aztec culture by itself. There was the
that's what I'm saying,
Tlaxcaltecs, there
yeah.
was the Olmecs, there was it was
Right, but the
separate cultures
criminal
around
part,
it.
the criminal part of South America is not by the natives.
Okay, but
it's more for the
we,
Spanish.
Yeah, but we just blaming the Spaniards for that. No, we don't. I don't
Sure,
blame. The,
I
I
blame
don't.
all
They
the
just had
Spanish.
wars.
No, hold on.
They just
Okay,
had
no.
wars.
No.
That's
Let's-
absolutely right. I blame all the Spanish
No,
people.
no, no. Hold on.
I do.
Hold it.
Fucking assholes.
The Mayans, they were assholes too.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Right.
Aztec, they performed human sacrifices.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So they're bad people too at some point.
Right,
We don't look
but
at
you
that
have
way
to- yeah.
because we affected by it.
But you have to
right?
notice that it was a whole civilization with good people, bad people,
Yeah.
okay people. Those people, those people from Spain, they were 100% all criminals.
All right, and they mixed up with another 20% or 30%
Right.
criminals
Yes, agree.
in the new continent,
Yeah.
and they become a big mass of
It-
criminals.
That's just how society was, like
Well,
in
society,
pretty much every
yeah,
culture.
all the South American society was based on criminals.
no,
if you're
I
from
went.
if you're Western Europe, they're all killing each other with swords and torturing each
That's
other for
right,
religious
that's right.
reasons.
But
There's all
again,
all over the world, people are doing stupid stuff.
that society was, 1% good people. Well, the other.
So you're saying
percentage-
most of the people that came from Spain to Latin America were
yeah.
criminals?
Yes.
Why?
Christopher Columbus recruited most of the. They only had one choice, or two choices. They would either go with Christopher Columbus to discover something, or die.
Okay,
Sounds like Australia, right?
Hold on.
Australia was a prison
Yeah.
country.
It's all
Okay,
Florida.
yeah, but we went too far on that fact. Okay, it took to the empire, to the new continent, to recreate that population that I had before the conquer, it took like 2 centuries. Because they'll die because all the viruses that came from the old world to the new world, they killed most of the people. So they take like 2 centuries to rebuild that population that I had before.
I agree with that.
So I think the most of the criminals, they're dead pretty much.
But still your ancestors.
I mean,
Oh,
everyone's
well,
a criminal.
I got
I mean, even if
an
you're in the
option.
government, you're still a killer. Everyone was a killer. Is kind of what I'm saying. It just was the state. It's not necessarily that you're biologically a killer. It's just
No.
like that's how society ran back then.
I remember-
You don't have a whole lot of options
No,
in terms of like restructuring society. Like in China, like a leader they had all of these different verbal dialects, like, and they also had all of these written dialects. Like you could go in one part of China to another area and you can't read any of the signage. So some leader was like, all right, here's what we're going to do. Here's the one written language that we're going to use. Okay. And I'm going to send soldiers across the whole country. If I see any writing that's not in this one written language, we're going to kill everyone in the village. Okay. And so it was like, you didn't have a whole lot of ways to restructure society other than kill everyone who doesn't do what you say.
I agree.
It's just how things were.
My take was that like most of the people that came from Europeans, they were all criminals, and I mean it is what it
Still criminals.
still criminals, motherfuckers. It is what it is. I'm not saying that it was wrong. That was whatever was available at the time, and it is what it is. I'm not saying that it was wrong or was fine. No, I'm saying that the new America society, especially South America, it was just based on whatever we got from Europe.
Yes, and
Because after Christopher Columbus arrived, more criminals arrived with Cortez. A lot of more criminals.
yeah, but what's the point?
And then the monks arrived, and they were okay.
That's what the people they want us to know.
All the monks.
What's that Mongolian leader?
Genghis Khan,
Mohammed.
big leader, Genghis Khan.
Mohammed Gandhi.
No,
Genghis Khan is the father of the other Mongols that are all the Asians descended.
8% of Asian men
How one gene of Genghis Khan is.
are descendants of Genghis Khan because he
I know
just
that.
went around and murdered all the men and raped all the women.
Yes. Yeah. And the curious fact about this guy is that
Rape all the women.
no, he
Yeah,
made
yeah,
he gave more. I mean,
He went on a boning.
He's probably had more children than any other human.
no, hold on. Just
history.
He went into
keep
the-
reading about him. This guy, he gave more life than he took it. He killed a lot of people, but the
You
village.
think he has more children than people he killed?
Right.
No,
Yes, just
no
look
way.
for it. Read the story of Genghis Khan. It's amazing. I read about those guys, and those is amazing. It's really amazing.
He went into the boning.
It's an old
Out of whack.
culture mixture, but it's beautiful and it is bloody at the same time. But I don't understand why, and I don't justify
All right,
just
around
war.
0.5% of men in the world, about 16 million individuals alive today, have a lineage back to Khan.
Right? Yes, it's true.
So he
It's
went
true.
into a
So it's a fact.
rampage of boning and killing.
No, it was
He's-
more. It was more boning than killing. Yeah.
More boning than killing.
Yeah, more boning.
Rape.
Yes,
Raping.
right. Yeah,
Rape.
it was more to rape because they conquer all the villages.
Kill
so
all the men,
they
rape
opposed
all
to
the
them and they
women.
kill them guys. Yeah, yeah, but they have more children that he can. I mean, sounds awful for us, but in
that
those times,
in those times, you see, that's going back to reincarnation. It'll suck big time if you get to live like 12 years, 12 years. You're a kid, a 12-year kid, and then this motherfucker comes and kill you.
All right. Put
would
it this way.
suck.
Put it
Well-
this way. That would be funny. If you reincarnate,
Imagine this would be a good sketch. A person, if reincarnation exists, you pick out the one person who had the shittiest series of reincarnations.
no.
They reincarnate
Put it this
100
way.
times every
Okay,
single time. It's just
that's-
like the worst.
That's what I
situation.
want to know. For example, let's say like you reincarnate, like Alex Marshall reincarnate, and he find himself. Let's say hypothetically he died, right?
Speaking.
He died, and then he reincarnate, and he was in this big galleon or ship going to the Americas, to the New Americans. You wake up, you in your
I'm in the-
Spanish
in
armor,
the Spanish galleon.
yeah. What will you do?
Just
What
suck
can
it
you
up.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
You suck it up. You're
Well,
right
what
there.
about if you had reminiscence that you went before in that? Were you talking in the podcast?
Actually, I have some pretty cool dreams about
If we were
kind
to
of
conquer.
previous lives.
Dreams are crazy.
Yeah,
how much
dreams.
you can
Dreams are fucking
live.
nuts.
Okay, but that's your conscious
Right.
talking to you.
Right.
Ah.
I'm just saying, like, if reincarnation exists, you ever seen Game of Thrones, right?
Right, yeah.
And you ever seen this guy, the big guy? What was the big ass guy that was?
Hound the mountain.
Yeah, the mountain.
Which one? The mountain, the biggest guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever seen like how he was training? He was just cutting people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
right,
Remember
right,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
He
right.
was cutting people guts. And you imagine if you reincarnate and you're one of those people, like one of
Yeah,
those
that's what I'm
the small
saying.
people, then you have to fight this big dude. That fucking suck, like that'll fucking suck big time. Just you get thrown into this.
I mean, you live the
This
whole
dude-
life up until then. You don't know exactly what your life would be.
Right.
Right.
And all of a sudden this guy
Just that
comes
one
and
moment.
cut your guts.
Well,
I'm saying
then you're going to reincarnate
take that.
faster than others.
I mean, if you're a soldier up until then, and then you get killed by the mountain, I'll take that over being a slave and doing like literally
hard work
nothing other than
for
labor your
years.
entire life. I'll pick being the soldier over that.
if you have the choice of
Let's say you're a soldier, you live to be 40, then you get chopped in half by the mountain, right? Or you live 60 years of hard labor and never doing anything else. You got
I'll pick the
But
soldier.
eventually you're
Yeah.
going to, okay, but that's a period of time. Then you're going to die, and then you're going to reincarnate again. And what about if the next time you reincarnate
Well,
as a queen?
some people say that you reincarnate in different types of animals too.
That's
ant.
for me it's BS. But
It depends on how well your previous life was and what
the
accomplished.
shitty-
If you didn't accomplish anything, then you reincarnate in a fucking dog, or
well, I'm glad to be dog, but I don't think.
raccoon.
ant,
Nah.
I don't know if the
Beetle.
insects or bugs qualify.
not insects.
I don't think so.
What about a horse? I don't think
Horse.
so. That's-
Oh, horse.
Or donkey with the big fucking wiener.
Right,
What about
right.
you?
I'll do
You're
that.
reincarnated in a dog. No, I don't think so. No, the
What
animals.
about
I
mouse?
just-
What about mouse?
I think it's any type of kind of
Mammal?
mammal that has some sort of feelings and conscious.
So you do okay. So Cooper, do you think that you don't have a soul, right?
Yeah.
So it's what do you want to be remembered by?
What your
after
legacy
your
will
life.
be.
I don't want to be remembered. I'm good.
With the man
good.
with no soul.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need any remembrance.
Here lies Jake
you're gonna
Cooper,
be-
the member with
No,
Right
I don't
now-
want a gravesite.
No, but right now you are doing something for people to remember. You're doing this podcast,
people will remember you. How you boys
This
in the
podcast
archives.
will be on the archives on the internet.
Yeah, no one's gonna listen
For-
to it. 100 years from now.
What about if people do? Just what about?
Okay, so
Maybe.
if let's say hypothetically, people can say, what then? I have no choice. People are going to remember me. What do I want them to remember me by? Is that the question? I have no choice.
You don't care.
I don't care.
You don't care. Yeah.
Does it? I mean, it's
Fair
a
enough.
drop in the bucket of human existence.
Fair enough.
I mean, for those of you that knew me, or Fuck you.
Please subscribe to our podcast
Right.
and
Thanks
wanna
for
continue-
listening to our Common Sense podcast
World
with Jay
Mystic.
Cooper, a soulless man.
The soulless man.
The soulless man.
The
That's a good
soulless
tagline.
man.
The soulless
Doesn't
man.
want to be remembered by any means, by anything.
good.
Like
Just
us
by
on
the-
Facebook, like us on Spotify, iTunes, and all that shit.
Give us
Thanks for
thumbs up.
listening. Take care.